We're going to move on to tiny opinions.
Teeny tines.
These are where our opinions are tiny but large and meaningful.
Strong opinions on tiny things.
That's right.
Tiny opinions on huge strongs.
I've got a tiny opinion. I don't trust a man with a book of poems that he takes out in the world. I think it's okay to have a book of poems, but I don't think you can break it out in public because you're just trying to score chicks.
I think it's even less than scoring chicks. More deplorable, in my opinion, is a man that is reading poetry in public. It's a very private thing.
Yeah.
Do it out back near a tree, sitting on a bench.
No, wait a second. You're making it sound like it's something to be ashamed of.
It is something to be ashamed of.
A little too far now.
What is the point of
You got to do that in hiding.
Poetry
it's fine
is
if those
archaic.
people
It's
exist.
ridiculous.
I understand they exist, but...
No, it's true. It's like, in a way, it's like Shakespeare. It's like it's an antiquated form of art. Do you know anybody? Here's a question for you.
You think poetry's dead?
Do you have any friend that writes poetry? Close friend?
No.
No, me neither. Would you ever be close friends with a guy that was like, and sometimes I just go home and I try to write a sonnet? No. Why are you writing poetry? What are you doing? Writing something narrative.
I think I could be friends with a guy that wrote poetry.
It's interesting to me that you say that. And have you ever had a friend?
He'd have to keep it to himself.
Well, then you wouldn't even know.
Do you think that two people that write poetry should be allowed to marry? Do you think that should be allowed?
No. I'm against that. I'm for gay marriage.
Of course you are. But
you know what I hate about those poetry people, or as I call them, pomos?
Yeah, pomos.
Fucking pomos.
Yeah.
They shouldn't marry. Why, so they can just sit around and say things in very few words?
I totally agree. They
come down for breakfast together. Can you imagine? Can you imagine a child
I see
growing
a
up?
story about, say, a poet being dragged behind a truck or something, or having a whole town picket against a poet. I can understand it a little bit.
I understand it. If there's a poet, these pomos, they shouldn't. First of all, they shouldn't be walking around pushing their poetry in people's faces.
Exactly.
That's what happens when you don't, just like a homosexual or heterosexual shouldn't read pornography openly on the train. Don't be reading some book of poems, you pomo.
I believe you said too. Not
people
just
call
in the
me a
backyard,
pomophobe.
Not just in the backyard, but behind the tree.
Yeah, get behind the tree if you're going to be reading those poems.
I think there should be some kind of test you can take to just know that you're either a pomo or not.
Well, listen, here's the thing, though.
You're not on a stick or something.
No, I'm sick of this, too. Everyone's like, oh, you're born a pomo. You can't. You're born a poet. You can't.
It might
it's
be
not a
genetic.
decision. It is a decision.
You pee on a stick.
It's a decision, and it's the wrong decision. You understand? I don't know why my throat hurts. Maybe it's from yelling about these pomos. Go back to Maryland where you belong. Fucking weirdos.
What's your character at Ice Age?
Huh?
What's your character?
Prancer.
Prancer's going to be all hoarse in one part of the movie.
Yeah.
Like he's just going to be like all of a sudden, pomos. Fucking pomos.
Everyone, all the kids are like, Mom, what's a pomo?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Yeah. Which is that? What's a pomo? Well, I knew this day would come. Now I got to tell them this.
Now look, if you just sort of take a test and just narrow it down, you pee on a stick, if it comes up rainbow, you might be a pomo.
I don't think that has anything to do with...
I think it might be genetic.
You think it's a urine thing?
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible it's genetic.
All right.
So that's one of my tiny opinions.